The lives of both Frederick Douglass and Daniel O'Connell are inspiring for the purpose of standing on principle for their beliefs. Often, when one thinks of compromise as a leader, it's understood to be beneficial for both sides of a dispute. But what happens when a compromise interjects in the humanity of a group of people? Modernly, it feels like those in positions of change and power have their ethics available for sale and choose power over the communities they claim to inspire. Frederick Douglass was renowned for speaking up and against legislation like the Compromise of 1850 that purposely ignored and set aside the dignity of enslaved Africans in the United States. Across the Atlantic Ocean, Daniel O'Connell faced pressure to abandon his ethics personally, standing firm in his belief that slavery was and will always be immoral, even when it threatened his political influence as a leader in Ireland. Leaders like this demonstrate that it is possible to pave the way for unity while simultaneously standing on what you know is right. In the fight against inequality today, I want to carve a similar path, one that agitates continuously as Frederick Douglass advocated for. A path that breaches intersectional boundaries and advocates for all races, sexualities, and religions simultaneously, without feeling the need to step on others in order to uplift the few. Those principles aren't just historical ideals to me. They guide how I navigate challenge, collaboration, and leadership within my own life. At Spelman, the African Diaspora in the World course is mandatory to expand Spelmanites in their understanding of diasporic connections within history in conjunction with the modern world. Classes are randomly assigned and include a wide range of projects, from museum curation, audio narratives, and theatrical performance pieces illustrating course concepts. These assignments are often intentionally open-ended, designed to test how students across majors can apply African-centered frameworks. By the end of the semester, I had learned to thrive in this environment. But group work, no matter the teacher or time period, often became a challenge. Many teams struggled to establish systems that leaned into each person's strengths. This was the real test of my bandwidth as a student and taught me how flexible my leadership skill set truly is. I developed real leadership skills that pull people up rather than sitting above them. To lead with genuineness is to serve and make personal sacrifices for the benefit of the people you work with and build fellowship alongside. Being pushed out of my comfort zone allowed me to collaborate with people from across the country and create unified bodies of work that reflected all of our perspectives and lived experiences. That understanding of leadership naturally extends into how I think about the world beyond my immediate community. I believe international work experience is essential not only to developing answers, but learning how to ask the right questions in the first place. Through this internship and beyond, I envision a future where I'm continually exposed to different cultures, perspectives, and work styles, while simultaneously cultivating meaningful relationships on an international scale. Being centered in Atlanta, a city deeply rooted in the fight against inequality, both domestically and abroad, has shaped how I understand past civil rights leaders and the scope of their work. Being given the chance to travel to Dublin to directly immerse myself in the political power structures Ireland has in place and just how they affect its own citizens will give me the opportunity to do a cross-examination on just how to effectively advocate with those within the United States as well as overseas in a way that outreaches instead of pushes back and provides equity to those who need it most. Ultimately, leadership isn't about where we go or what we change, but it's how we engage with others along the way. Akin to Daniel O'Connell and Frederick Douglass, I believe innate human dignity is not up for debate. I do believe that genuine conversation is the key to arriving at an understanding of how one views the world. The concept sonder, the understanding that every person you encounter with is living a deeply complex and nuanced life, guides how I engage with differing perspectives. Each individual carries their own joys, pains, struggles, and goals. When faced with viewpoints that diverge from my own, I approach the interaction with curiosity and the desire to understand another person's thought process. I make an effort to maintain the authenticity of my own perspective, but I do make room for concept adjustment when I'm demonstrated with further evidence. Human life is far too complex for black and white thinking. Oftentimes, the strife we see from debate stems from an attempt to simplify overtly complex ideas. As the next generation of leaders, we deserve to nuance conversation in regards to worldviews in a way that keeps our mutual humanity intact.